Years ago, after that memory thing broke loose in my head, I had this weird, dream while I was awake. It went so fast, the thoughts, that I couldn't keep up with except for big parts, like I'd see the pyramids of Egypt or something. And I figured out the other day it slowed down for me so I could see what it was. I saw the entire history of time in fast motion, because that's a lot of shit to cram in. I can barely remember the day. It's so long and filled with this information. But now I know what I saw. I saw the history of all mankind. And I'm here to tell you something that's going to shake the world and a group of people I've been just wanting to smack upside the head for years. I've always gotten pissed off when people tell me to pray. I said, prayer doesn't work for me. God? I said, there is no God. Scientifically, no, there's no God. I have given God a new definition because of my experience. I haven't finished telling you. God is to no longer be spelled with a capital G, because it's no longer a noun. It's an adjective to describe something. I wrote that it's an adjective to describe a description or a theory that cannot be explained with the knowledge that is available at the time. God. Mythology had many gods, because back then there were so many things, lightning, oceans, so many things to explain that they had all kinds of gods. As time went on, thousands and thousands and thousands of years into the future, which was thousands and thousands of years ago, we only needed one God. And now with science to the point it is, we really don't need any, except for the fact that it's a habit. But I'm here to tell you, I know for a fact that there is no God, there is no heaven, and there is no hell. And people say, what, are you an atheist? I said, not exactly, no. I'm somebody who knows the truth. An atheist is somebody who believes there is no God. I'm not an atheist. I know there is no God. I've never believed in organized religion, because I'm like, everybody's got their own interpretation. And what is the point of going to church when I've read the Bible? I've studied religions. Oh my God. Now I can't say that anymore. You gotta think of a new word now. Oh my macaroni. We gotta think of a new word. And I knew prayer was not... Prayer don't work. Prayer's a joke. Come on, man. Quit telling me to pray, and I'll quit trying to smack you upside the head, God, that pissed me off. And it's because God doesn't exist. The universe exists. And do you know what else? I can even prove Albert Einstein, his theory of relativity. I know where the proof is. It's right here in the middle of the United States somewhere. Not sure where, but it's somewhere in the United States, because you can look at the date. On the east and the west coast, we may be on the same page as far as the calendar is concerned, but I'm telling you that they out west are in the future, and we here on the east coast are stuck in some kind of glitch in the past. Yep. It's the truth. And then it started coming, all these things are coming into my head. It's just absolutely, I had to try and knock myself out the other night, Because it's getting to where I don't even need to sleep or eat or anything anymore. I'm starting to wonder if I ever needed to. Maybe that's my sleep disorders. I've gotten older, I need less and less and less and more to knock me out. Because maybe I don't even need sleep. It's a dangerous thing to test, but hey, Mayo Clinic's going to want me, I hope. For one thing, I want to be able to treat my disease and believe diseases, problems, whatever, the way I believe they should be treated as a medical professional that I am. No, I don't have a PhD. I didn't go to medical school. But I might as well have. I have outproven even the good doctor in town. He went on the internet. He said, "My God, Karen," he said, "you knew more about it than I did." You're right. Holy crap. You do know your shit. He said, "I told you so. That's all I've done my whole life. It's just study, study, study." I had a mother who didn't give two shits about me, and a father who was in the military during Vietnam or almost asleep with headaches that later on would be attributed to the friggin' aneurysm that leaked in his brain, which normally is not survivable. But maybe he had to survive to give me the cure to valley fever. But anyways, I have his funeral on tape too. I just watched it the other night because I got the weirdest box of stuff. Because when we left that damn doctor's office, confirming that I was the only person like me, I said, uh-oh. I said, he didn't call in my prednisone. After all that bitching he didn't call it in. We got to the pharmacy and I said, "What about the prednisone?" They said, "He didn't call in prednisone." Knew it. So can you run me by my P.O. box? Got a package to pick up. Clueless. It's a big box from Shirley Chandler. It's a big box from Shirley Chandler with the weirdest bunch of shit in that box that I've ever seen. For one thing, I was able to explain, like, my grandfather was a genius. My dad was adopted, but I know he's my adopted grandfather. I never could find my real grandfather because it probably waited too long and he's dead or whatever. I found a penny shaped almost like when you flatten a coin at Universal, let's say, for a souvenir penny. Except this penny was different. There was nothing on the back, and it had an Indian on the front. It said United States of America. Knowing God we trust. And the date was so old in the 1800s. I said, I get it. This is a real United States penny. There's no Abraham Lincoln and no Lincoln Monument in existence. That's why. Bam! Solved another freaking thing that most people would look at and not figure out. The only thing I haven't figured out is because I've never studied Canadian money because I never figured there was a point to. But my grandfather was a genius, and if he kept a coin in plastic, well, by God, that coin meant something. And I always remembered when I did live in New York, we didn't take none of their crappy-ass Canadian money with their shitty exchange rate. But here is a Canadian coin wrapped in plastic, a penny, from 1961 with, I gotta research this name, Elizabeth Gratis Regina. I assume she's royalty. Oh, that's another thing about me. My grandmother's maiden name is Munson. But if you trace Munson, this is my mother's mother, is a Munson. If you trace that name back, it's written at Cornell University and in England. Back to William the Conqueror. Do you know why? Because I am royalty. Yes, I am. I had no idea years ago when I made a pit stop in England for the day that I was sitting in a pub talking to these women. Well, Parmigiano Romano cheese, which they were clueless about, till finally one woman goes, "Hey, you mean all cheese?" Yeah, the guy And I'm like, that's good enough for me, that's it. You know? They were sitting there talking to a royal subject. I was a fucking princess when I was sitting there in England. Yep. I was a princess. I was royalty when I'm there. I'm still royalty. I'm blue blood. I'm a blue blood. I hate to relate and to admit I'm related to some ugly people, but maybe not the Prince Charles, thank God. Or why would he dump Diana for Camilla? Oh, when I saw her, I couldn't believe that shit. But anyways, yeah, I'm descended from royalty. Documented. I'm 90 special. But, what is it about the Canadian money at that time that made it so valuable? My grandfather had amazing things. I found things in here that I have no explanation how the person who sent these to me even got them, much less why she sent them. For instance, I had to figure out, I always wondered what my parents' exact amount they paid for their huge house in New York back in 1971. In July, the first day of July 1971, they took out a mortgage for $13,200. A lot of money back then, wouldn't you say? On that same date, they bought a bond for the exact amount. And I stared at these suckers, May 14th, 1971, $13,200. Bingo! Figured it out. What back then did we have other than houses that might have been that valuable? Not a whole hill of beans, right? So you needed collateral. So basically you had to buy your house twice. This bond was bought for collateral for this house. This bond was taken out May 1st, 1971 for $13,200. I wonder what it's worth today. I just wonder what it's worth today. Then I find more and more stuff in here. I found stuff that busted my father for being a scoundrel when I knew he was. Everybody wouldn't believe me until after my father was dead about certain things. Just like I wondered last week how old my grandparents, because my dad was adopted, but those particular grandparents, how old those people were when they died and how they died and all that, because nobody told me. In here is an article. Unfortunately, she cut the date off. My grandpa, like I didn't even recognize him. Gerald Crozier, 86, sits in his Homer residence holding favorite German violin, which he had a Stradivarius. His favorite German violin, he'll never live to tell me why, which he lost in exchange for his life. One of his handmade flintlock rifles. Something's missing. Crozier, until recent years, operated a gun shop for his favorite. Hold on a sec. In this article, though, mourning the loss of his first son. It says here that he was pulled out of the flames just in time to save him in the same article. I don't get it. The woman who did it is dead. I gotta find out more. We're almost out of time. More miracles coming your way from Karen Crozier. Listen up, world. I know it.